Hi all, and welcome to this week's racing-based preview. We've got Group 1 racing coming our way from Caulfield Racecourse, the Underwood Stakes and the Sir Rupert Clarke Stakes. So to dissect those races and help me try and find a winner, I've got Rick Chapman on the other line. Rick, how are you?
Yeah, very good. Looking forward, obviously, to a big weekend of sport, starting with the football on Friday night and then culminating with the races on Saturday.
Yeah, well, some big races. I'm excited, Rick. It's that time of the year. Spring horses are all getting back into work, and there's a few standouts on the weekend, I think.
Oh, look, there always is. Whether they parlay themselves into money in our pockets, another matter. But I'm looking forward to the two Group 1s. I think we've found the winner of both those, and we all like betting on Group 1s. So I'm going to have a lash. Just hope the rain stays away at Caulfield.
Yeah, likewise, Rick, because mine will appreciate that dry track. So let's kick straight into the biggest one for mine, which is the Underwood, Rick. How do you see that one playing out?
It's a fantastic race. It's one of those rare races where there's 11 acceptors, but there's already our Ivanhoe scratch. So of the 10, the barriers suit all of their racing styles for every one of them. It's quite extraordinary. The outside draw for the cleaner means he's going to have to be the cleaner and careen across from the outside and lead the field. And if he does that, he might just spark up and run really quick sectionals, which gives him a great chance as the only leader in the race. The key to it, I think, is the state of the track. If it's going to be a little bit damp, then it's all over. Lucia Valentina wins and wins easily. She's by far the best horse in the race. She's proven that. And her form this time up would suggest the same. But if it is a dry track, which it currently is, then I rate Blackheart Bart very hard to beat. I also think the clean will be hard to beat too. But if those two can get him as they straighten up, then fantastic finish coming up. Blackheart Bart was a terrific run last start, even though a lot of people will say, oh, he got run down over a mile. How's he going to run 1,800 metres? Well, he's fitter. As simple as that. He's an outstanding horse who runs well on a good track. So we'll see how it goes. But even if it is a real good track, I'm still going to be on Lucia Valentina as my main bet, simply because I think she's the class horse. She finished 4 lengths behind Winks last start. Well, Winks would beat this field by 4 or 5. And she finished a half a length behind Hartnell, and Hartnell would beat this field by about 6. So based on that and what she did second up to win the Queen Elizabeth last time, I think she wins and wins easily, Lucia Valentina.
Yeah, she's a class act, Rick. It's just whether you can catch her on the day or not. I've struggled to catch her, to be honest, Rick. But like I said, on her day, she's a class act. So bit of rain around would definitely help her chances. But I'm sticking with Blackheart Bart. And we discussed this a bit before we started recording, Rick. He is a good track horse. 8 of his 10 wins with Vaughan Sigley came on a good 3. His other 2 were on a good 4. He's had 3 runs for Darren Weir on a good 3 track. All 3 of them have been wins, 2 of them at Group 1 level. So we get to a good 3, you'll see Blackheart Bart put in his best. And the other thing we discussed was, you look at that run last start where some people said he didn't get the trip. He came out at the 700 metre mark, sitting 4 wide around that corner, hit the front with 400 to go, and was expected to keep going down that long Flemington straight. It would have been a Herculean effort to keep going and win. And he ran second, which was big enough. So I think that run was huge. It was full of merit. He gets back onto a good track instead of that soft 5. You'll see a better performance. As you said, he's fitter this time too. Blackheart Bart for mine.
Yeah, look, I'd make him special if Lucia Valentina wasn't in it, but I've got to sway to the side of a class every time. But that'll be my exacta. My trifecta will be with the cleaner in and also Rock Throne as well. But I just think it's going to be a very genuinely run race. And when that happens, the genuine good horses tend to rise to the top. And the best 2 horses are Lucia Valentina and Blackheart Bart. So I think between us, we'll pick the winner.
Yeah, and the good thing with the cleaner in there, Rick, is he'll spread them out too. He goes along at that fast speed. You always see he spreads the field out, which allows horses to get in. You're not going to see a whole heap of horses getting caught 3 wide. You would expect that the field would be strung out. Everyone should get their chance, and And I agree, Lucia, Blackheart, and even, you can't underestimate Awesome Rock either. He's running well, and he's technically a Group 1 winner, although he doesn't have it next to his record. He's a chance as well.
Oh, as I just said, that they're top 4, they'll be hard to beat. And I'd love to see Prince of Penzance, and I expect Prince of Penzance to be rattling home at the end too. And we might even see an improved run from Howard Be Thy Name. But there is a class differential between, say, the top 2 and the rest, and I think that'll be borne out with the solid pace the cleaner will set. But a great race, and I hope we're in front by that stage of the day.
Yep, absolutely. All right, mate, let's get over to the other Group 1, the Sir Rupert Clarke. Under the Louvre is probably coming out of that. So I don't think he had any chance anyway with the top weight. It's proven top weights just can't win that race. Testarossa was the last to do it with 58.5 kilos, and I don't think Under the Louvre is any Testarossa. So maybe an easier target for him somewhere in the future. But how do you see that one coming along anyway, Rick?
Geez, you're a bit harsh. He's an honest horse. Under the Louvre, very honest.
It is a proven. It's a handicap. So horses down in the weights have the best chance in that race. 58. He's just giving too many good horses weight to be able to win that.
Well, I attend with your comments. I tend to agree with your comments because mathematics suggests that if he's going to be 6 lengths off them, he will find it difficult to give horses the calibre of Voodoo Lad and Counterattack 4 kilos. But in his defence, even though he probably isn't going to run, he's an honest campaigner, and I think he'll win a race this time up Under the Louvre if he comes back well. Off that, though, even with him in, I think Voodoo Lad's the emerging star on the scene, and those last 2 wins at listed level have been quite extraordinary. He has a finishing burst that is irrepressible. And I just think with 54 kilos, he'll be out the back smoking his pipe in about 8th or 9th coming to the bend and will just unleash. He's in great form. Darren Weir's got him absolutely flying. And I think we see a new star in the sprinting scene emerge here with Voodoo Lad finishing too brilliantly for them. Counterattack was a good thing beaten the last start. And he obviously is very talented, and as a stallion prospect, he needs this Group 1 win to make him a very valuable stallion prospect. He runs a huge race to run second, and there's about 8,000 of them can line up for third. With Under the Louvre potentially out, I would have to say Bonorum is the pick for third for mine, just in front of Thames Court and Fast and Rocking.
Okay, interesting one, Rick. And I don't want to dwell on Under the Louvre too much, especially seeing he is going to be out. But it was the same thing last time he carried 59 kilos. He was beaten by 3 horses that carried 53. So, it was that weight that just told, and that was Scheidel and, a couple of others that aren't Group 1 company, I don't think. So that weight told last time. It would have told again on Saturday if he'd run. But I agree with you. Voodoo Lad, geez, how good was he last time at Moonee Valley? He has got a fantastic finishing burst, and I think he just wins this with that 54 kilos on his back.
Yeah, I think the lower weighted horses, talking about Scheidel, I do think she'll win the last comfortably, even though, again, handicap, and she's got 58 and giving good sprinters 54. But he's something special. He can rattle off some extraordinary sectionals as Voodoo Lad, and I think he finishes too well for them. Tavachi, I think, will run a big race too.
Chris Parnham got off him last time as well and said, I haven't felt that kind of acceleration from a horse before. So they're the comments you want to hear from a jockey heading into a Group 1 where he's coming off some cracking form. So it's just, will he behave himself and not over race and cost himself the race? That's the main query.
Yeah, I think the pace will be on. So that might take care of that. He'll get into a rhythm. And he'll get into a good rhythm. It's that extraordinary finishing burst that has really impressed me the last 2 starts.
Okay, and just quickly, there's 2 other feature races there at Caulfield that we need to see leading into the Caulfield Guineas and 1,000 Guineas. Have you done much form on those, Rick?
Yeah, I think Whispering Brook's a good thing. Even though it's a very strong fillies field, I think she's outstanding and is going to roar herself into 1,000 Guineas favouritism. And the Colts race, well, Secret Elixir, is he back? The Sacred Elixir, rather, was he back as good as he was in the winter? That's the big question. Saraceno was pretty impressive. I'm going to have to go with Sacred Elixir, even though he's first up. I think he might be pretty handy, this horse. I know Gay's horse is going to have to go hard from the outside and lead, evacuation. Sometimes, a lot of times, Gay's horses, when they're really good, like he is, can keep going. But I don't know whether he's Group 1 horse yet. And Sacred Elixir is. Archives was pretty impressive last start too, so I'm going to go Sacred Elixir to run down evacuation and Archives.
Yeah, I love Sacred Elixir, Rick. He's a classy beast, this one. And I tipped him in the JJ Atkins, and I was around at a mate's watching that race. There was a whole group of us, and I told them he just wouldn't lose. So we all chipped in and put some big money on him. He was caught wide, and I thought, oh no, Zach Purton slaughtered it. But he still won by 3.5. So he's a good horse. They ran slow time on the day, which is a bit of a concern. But being on a Derby path, first up, although I think he's the best horse in the race, I'm steering clear of him just for this one run. I'll be on him next start. I already am for the Caulfield Guineas in the Derby. But I'm going to go with the other Kiwi. I'm going to go with Saraceno. I loved his run last start. He's won both runs this campaign. His 1,400-metre run in New Zealand in the size produce, that was on a heavy track. He turned on the heavy track and kicked a few lengths in front, and he just started to paddle late. I reckon the last 50 metres when horses out wide caught him. So I think he can be excused for tiring on that heavy track over 14, and 14's definitely not beyond him. So I'm with Saraceno, and in the fillies edition, the 1,000 guineas, going with Philip Stokes, filly, where is Samara Dancer? The run behind Saraceno. If I'm going to tip him, I've got to follow that form. And 1,400's a bit of a query with her, I think. But we've got to back one, and I'm pretty keen on Samara Dancer, just through the form out of that Danehill Stakes.
Yeah, I thought the run was very good. Very good. She was in a tough race, and she couldn't really get at them until late, and she got to the line, which suggests this might be no problem, 1,400. I'm just concerned about her putting two runs together. She couldn't do it last time, but I've got a big opinion of Whispering Brook. I think she might be outstanding.
Yeah, interesting to note, though, Rick, that Chris Parnham had the option to take Whispering Brook, and he's gone with Leotie instead. And he said he took that one because he wants to build relationships over in the eastern seaboard with some trainers over there. But coming up to a Group 1 race, which is where these fillies are going, you'd think any jockey, especially a jockey that hasn't won a Group 1 before, would want to be putting himself on the horse that's going to win that Group 1. So I'm a bit worried that he's chose Leotie over Whispering Brook. And then when I look at Leotie's time she ran last start, where she looked impressive, the times were so slow, it's not funny. I think that form's really dubious, which is why I looked elsewhere from those two. So, interesting race. I think there's some great chances in it, but, putting my puzzle pieces together, I've gone with Samara Dancer.
Very good. Good luck. We do know that jockeys are notoriously poor judges.
Yeah, absolutely. They can do that, and they can kill us at the best of times. So, all right. Any specials in Sydney for you, Rick?
Sydney, tough race. I'm looking at the skies now. Tough race meeting. I'm looking at the skies. It's very grey. Looks like we might get rain on Friday, and it can't be good. First Seal, you want to hope that she bounces back. First up from a spell. She always runs well first up, and she's trialled quite well. So I'm going to be on First Seal to win the $400,000 race, the Golden Pendant. And I'll have a little bit on Old North too. I know he's going to be fair odds, but he's got nothing on his back in the Shannon Stakes, and I think he runs a vastly improved race too. So can't back everything. The main race, one of the interesting races in Sydney is the Stan Fox, and we've got the nominal Caulfield Guineas favourite in Divine Prophet racing against O'Shea's good horse Impending, second good horse, the Stern being out. I think that they'll fight it out. Divine Prophet bit like Voodoo Lad. He's got a powerful finishing burst when he wants to kick in, and I'll be on Divine Profit in that. But good racing. Won't be having big bets, particularly because of the rain that's anticipated.
All right, well, I really haven't had time to do the Sydney form, Rick. I've spent countless hours watching replays and doing sectionals and crunching data for Melbourne. So I'll trust your judgment with the Sydney ones. I'll check out your final tips on bettingpro.com.au, and I'll have a punt on some of your Sydney specials. But, yeah, I'm keen on a few in Melbourne, and hopefully we've steered the punters into a winner this weekend.
Yeah, good luck with everybody's tips. I know everybody has their own thoughts, and some disagree with us. Let's hope that we all come out on the right side of the ledger this time.
Absolutely. All right. Good luck, everyone. Hope we found a winner. Hope you clean up on the weekend. Plenty of good Group 1 racing coming over the next few weeks. So we'll be back next week to dissect some more races, and best of luck this Saturday.
Yeah, all the best to everybody. And if you've got a live football team in the finals this weekend, hope you get the prize. I'm on the Swans and the Sharks.
All right. Good luck with that. Bye for now, guys.
There you go. All the best.